I think that being able to move confidently and efficiently is a privilege which comes with being young, fit, healthy, and injury-free. The movement within my sport, sprinting, is highly specific and requires years of training to be able to master the technical side of things. Although I've been sprinting for almost 3 years now, I am still learning and constantly improving my technique. Through sprinting, I've become familiar with certain ways of moving, such as high-intensity training, short distance anaerobic training with longer recoveries, plyometrics, and explosive work in the gym. I also believe that movement is important for a person's identity, and the way a person moves can change their identity within a sport. I love the feeling of exploding out of the blocks and being able to put all of myself, my energy, emotions, and my entire body into a forward's momentum with as much power as I possibly can. The experience of the movement completely taking over my body creates a sense of flow. The way I identify myself through my sport changes according to the situation. For example, at club level, I take on the role of a coach and an official, as well as an athlete. Whereas at an international level, I proudly take on the identification of my country and become just another one of the hundreds of athletes at a meet. An individual can be changed and influenced by a sporting culture, but the sporting culture can also be changed as a result of influences from individuals, according to the Pierre model. An example of this within my own sport is the athletic culture affecting not only my sporting life, but my everyday life, such as being sure to eat healthy, getting enough sleep, and not letting outside influences affect my running. I can't say yet that as an individual I have had a great effect on the sprinting culture. From a biomechanical perspective, the advantage of using blocks is that you are able to maximize acceleration and reach top speed earlier in the race. A block start is a gross motor skill, meaning that it involves large muscle movements and many fundamental parts to make up the entire movement, such as rear leg drive, forward lean, and movement of arms to counteract legs. A block start is externally paced, as the athlete must pay attention to the commands of the starter. Because this movement is performed at the same time as others, but does not involve direct confrontation, we refer to it as a coactive skill.
I love the feeling of performing. I see movement as a skill that can be trained and improved. There's no better feeling when you can see improvements in your movement. The feeling when achieving a new personal best or successfully learning something new is completely different to anything. It's almost on a different level. There are times you can get lost within a movement, especially for me on the sports field or in the gym. There are times when your body seems to take control and in a way has a mind of its own. You can feel the emotion in your body, whether it be anger, fear, joy or failure. There is nothing quite like it, and until you experience it, you will not understand. In a way, your body becomes free from your mind. As an active mover, I'm always keen to experience and learn new forms of movement. Sometimes it can be frustrating when you have to go back to the associative stage of learning, because I feel like I'm an expert at a lot of skills already, and having to go back to the beginning and be taught from scratch can be a bit demeaning, especially if I initially struggle with the skill. That's why I was a little bit hazy when being taught about the block start, because I have never really done anything like it before, so I was unable to recall on previous knowledge to assist me. Being a spectator and watching the block start, however, at first I thought it looked quite easy, and that I would be able to perfect it easy enough. I later learned through intrinsic self-feedback that it would be a lot harder than initially thought. At the start in the associative stage, I was really unsure how the movement was meant to feel and was confused as if I was even doing it right. Due to this, I was unable to initially rely on intrinsic feedback because nothing I did felt right. I had to rely on extrinsic feedback from Molly to talk me through it. When I was first learning, she was more focused on concurrent feedback as she talked me through the movement as I was doing it. As I seemed to get the hang of things and move into the cognitive stage, she did both concurrent and terminal feedback. After a practice, she was positive in her terminal feedback and enforced all the things I did right. She also pointed out what needed improving. I needed to lift my backside higher, etc. then currently gave me feedback the next practice, clearly pointing out what I needed to do to improve my movement. This really helped me learn a lot quicker, and I seem to progress through the stage of learning quite quickly. From this, I believe now that I will almost be at the autonomous stage with the block start, as towards the end I was getting it right almost every time. Going into the block start, I was actually really surprised how hard it actually is, which in a way, when I got started to get it right, it made the end result that much more satisfying.